2 weeks had passed since Click 7 left Mars. Jake had settled back into his routine of opening the cafe every morning and waiting for customers who never came. He was beginning to think that his encounter with the alien had been a one-time event. Then, on a quiet Tuesday morning, he heard the familiar sound of a ship landing outside. Jake looked out the window and saw Click 7's silver ship on the street. But this time, there was a second ship with it. This one was larger and painted dark green with strange symbols on its sides. Jake smiled and started making coffee. His alien friend had returned, and it looked like Click 7 had brought company. Door to the cafe opened, and Click 7 walked in with 2 other aliens. One was tall and thin with gray skin and long arms that reached almost to the floor. The other was short and round with thick purple fur covering its entire body. All 3 aliens looked nervous as they entered the human cafe. Jake Morrison. Click 7 said happily, "I have returned as promised. These are my friends. This is Nara Prime from the Mintari Research Station, and this is Grok from the Stellan Mining Fleet." Jake wiped his hands on his apron and walked over to greet them. "Welcome to Murphy's Last Stop. Any friend of Click 7 is a friend of mine. Please, sit wherever you like." The 3 aliens found seats at a large table near the center of the cafe. Nara Prime folded her long arms carefully and studied the human decorations on the walls. Grok sniffed the air and made a pleased rumbling sound. "Click 7 has told us amazing stories about your food," Nara Prime said in a musical voice. "We have traveled far to experience human cuisine for ourselves. And I have heard that humans are excellent hosts," Grok added in a deep, gravelly voice. "Though I must admit, I'm curious about beings who cook their food instead of eating it raw." Jake laughed. "Cooking makes everything taste better. What would you like to try?" "I can make whatever you're hungry for," Click 7 spoke up. "They want to try the breakfast you made for me. The eggs and bacon and toast. But maybe you could make something else too? I told them about your cooking skills." "I can do better than that," Jake said. "I'll make you a feast. Give me about 30 minutes, and I'll show you what human cooking is really about." Jake went to the kitchen and began preparing food. He decided to make a variety of dishes so the aliens could try different flavors and textures. He started with pancakes, something he had never made for aliens before. Then he cooked bacon and sausages, scrambled eggs with cheese, and hash browns. He also made fresh biscuits and gravy. While the food cooked, Jake brought coffee to the table. Click 7 drank it eagerly, but the other 2 aliens were more cautious. Nara Prime took a small sip and immediately started asking questions. "This beverage is fascinating," she said. "It contains caffeine, which is a stimulant, but it also has hundreds of different chemical compounds that create flavor. How do you determine the correct balance?" "It's not really about science," Jake explained. "It's about what tastes good. You roast the beans until they smell right. Then you grind them and add hot water. The secret is knowing when to stop." Grok tried the coffee and made a face. "Too bitter for me. Do you have anything sweeter?" Jake brought Grok a glass of orange juice. The alien's eyes widened when he tasted it. "This is much better. It tastes like sunshine. That's a nice way to put it," Jake said. "Orange juice is made from fruit that grows on Earth. It's sweet and full of vitamins." The first dish Jake brought out was the pancakes. He had made them fluffy and golden brown with butter and syrup on the side. He explained how to eat them and watched as the aliens took their first bites. Nara Prime ate very slowly, analyzing each flavor. The texture is soft and spongy. The sweetness comes from the syrup, but the pancakes themselves have a more complex flavor. "This is remarkable." Grok ate much faster, stuffing large pieces into his mouth. "This is wonderful. It's like eating a cloud made of happiness." Click 7 nodded in agreement. "I told you Jake was an excellent cook. But wait until you try the other dishes." Jake brought out the rest of the food and arranged it on the table. He explained what each dish was and how it was prepared. The aliens listened carefully and asked many questions about human cooking methods. Why do you cook your food? Nara Prime asked. It seems like an inefficient use of energy. Cooking does more than just make food safe to eat, Jake explained. It changes the flavors and textures. It makes tough meat tender and brings out natural sweetness in vegetables. But more than that, cooking shows care. When you cook for someone, you're putting time and effort into making them happy. Grok was busy eating hash browns. These are crispy on the outside and soft on the inside. How do you make them do that? You have to cook them slowly at the right temperature, Jake said. Too hot and they burn. Too cool and they don't get crispy. It takes patience. Patience, Nara Prime repeated. That is an interesting concept. My people value efficiency above all else. We would never spend so much time preparing food. But look how much you're enjoying it, Jake pointed out. Sometimes the best things in life take time. The aliens spent the next hour eating and talking. They asked Jake about his life on Earth, his time in the military, and his decision to stay on Mars. Jake told them stories about his old friend Murphy and explained why he had named the cafe after him. Murphy used to say that food was the universal language, Jake said. He believed that you could make friends with anyone if you shared a good meal with them. Your friend was wise, Nara Prime said. We have learned more about human culture in this meal than in years of research. Grok nodded enthusiastically. And the food is much better than our mining rations. We eat the same nutrition paste every day. This is like discovering treasure. As the aliens finished eating, they began talking about their own cultures. Nara Prime explained that her people were scientists and philosophers who spent their time studying the universe. Grok told them about life in the mining asteroids, where his people worked in dangerous conditions to extract valuable minerals. We all have different ways of living, Jake said. But we all need food and friendship. That's what makes us alike. Click 7 stood up and walked to the window. Jake, I must tell you something. We are not the only ones who know about your cafe. Word is spreading through the trade routes. Other travelers are curious about the human who stayed on Mars. What kind of travelers? Jake asked. All kinds, Click 7 said. Scientists, traders, explorers, even some diplomats. Your story has become famous. The human who defied the Galactic Council and stayed to run a cafe. Nara Prime looked concerned. You should know that not everyone approves of what you're doing. Some officials are angry that you remained on Mars after the evacuation order. Let them be angry, Jake said. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm just cooking food and treating people with respect. That may be true, Grok said. But the Council has rules about humans staying in alien territory. They may try to force you to leave. Jake thought about this for a moment. If they want me to leave, they'll have to come here and ask me nicely. I'm not going anywhere. The 3 aliens prepared to leave, but first they helped Jake clean up the dishes. They worked together, with Jake teaching them how to wash plates and cups properly. It was a simple task, but it felt like friendship. We will tell others about your cafe, Click 7 said as they walked to their ships. You have shown us that humans and aliens can be friends. This is an important message. Come back anytime, Jake said. And bring more friends, I'll be here. The aliens climbed into their ships and flew away into the red Martian sky. Jake watched them go, then walked back into his cafe. He looked around at the empty tables and chairs, but somehow the place felt less lonely now. He had served his first group of alien customers, and they had enjoyed not just the food, but the experience of being welcomed and treated with kindness. Jake started planning his next menu. If more aliens were coming, he wanted to be ready with new dishes to try. He had a feeling that his quiet days on Mars were about to get much more interesting. Jake woke up to the sound of metal scraping against metal. It was his 22nd day alone on Mars, and he had gotten used to the silence. The strange noise coming from outside made him sit up in bed immediately. He grabbed the old military binoculars from his nightstand and looked out the window. A small alien ship had landed on the street in front of his cafe. It was about the size of a delivery truck, with smooth silver sides and no visible windows. Steam was rising from what looked like a damaged engine part. Jake had never seen an alien ship up close before, but he knew this one was in trouble. Jake pulled on his clothes and walked downstairs to the cafe. He started the coffee maker and turned on the grill, just like every other morning. If aliens were about to visit his cafe, he wanted to be ready to serve them. He had been waiting 3 weeks for customers, and he wasn't going to let this opportunity pass. The ship's door opened with a hissing sound. Jake watched through the cafe window as a figure stepped out. The alien was about 6 feet tall with blue skin and 4 arms. It wore a gray uniform with patches and symbols that Jake didn't recognize. The creature looked around nervously before walking toward the cafe. Jake opened the front door and stepped outside. The alien stopped walking and stared at him. They looked at each other for a long moment without saying anything. Jake noticed that the alien had large yellow eyes and no hair on its head. Its forearms ended in hands that looked almost human, except for the extra fingers. "Hello," Jake said in a friendly voice. "I'm Jake Morrison. This is my cafe." The alien tilted its head and made a series of clicking sounds. Then it spoke in accented English. "You are human. Humans are not supposed to be here." "Well, I'm still here," Jake said with a smile. "And you look like you could use some help. Is your ship broken?" The alien looked back at its ship, then at Jake. "My name is Click 7. I'm a trade scout for the Zephyrian Transport Guild. My ship has cooling system failure. I need repair materials and fuel." Jake nodded. "I don't know much about spaceships, but I can offer you food and coffee while you figure out what to do. When did you last eat?" Click 7 looked confused. "You offer food to me? But I'm not human." "Food is food," Jake said. "Come on in. I'll make you something good." The alien followed Jake into the cafe. Click 7 looked around at the tables and chairs, the pictures on the walls, and the old coffee machine. Everything was clearly designed for humans, but Jake had always believed that hospitality was universal. "Sit wherever you want," Jake said, pointing to the tables. "What kind of food do your people usually eat?" Click 7 carefully sat down at a table near the window. The chair was a bit small for its frame, but it managed to fit. "We eat nutrition bars and protein drinks. Very efficient." Jake made a face. "That sounds awful. No wonder you aliens always look so serious. You need some real food." Jake went to the kitchen and started cooking. He decided to make something simple but delicious. He put bacon on the grill and started making scrambled eggs. The smell of cooking food filled the cafe, and Jake heard Click 7 make a surprise sound. "What is that smell?" the alien asked. "Breakfast," Jake called from the kitchen. "I hope you're hungry." While the food cooked, Jake made a pot of coffee. He had no idea if aliens could drink coffee, but he was willing to try. He brought a cup to Click 7's table and set it down carefully. "This is coffee," Jake explained. "It's a drink we humans enjoy. Try it if you want." Click 7 picked up the cup with 2 of its hands and sniffed it. The alien's eyes widened. "This has a very strong smell. Is it safe?" "It's safe," Jake said. "It might taste different from what you're used to, but it won't hurt you." Click 7 took a small sip and immediately made a face. Then it took another sip and another. "This is interesting. It makes my mouth feel warm." Jake laughed. "That's the caffeine. It helps humans wake up in the morning." "Do you like it?" "I think so," Click 7 said, taking another sip. "It is very different from nutrition drinks." Jake finished cooking and brought a plate of food to the table. Scrambled eggs, bacon, and toast, all arranged neatly on a white plate. He set it down in front of Click 7 and handed the alien a fork. "This is called breakfast," Jake said. "The yellow stuff is eggs, the crispy strips are bacon, and the brown squares are toast. Just try a little bit of each." Click 7 held the fork awkwardly with one hand and poked at the eggs. The alien took a small bite and chewed slowly. Its yellow eyes got very wide. "This is food?" Click 7 asked. "Real food," Jake said. "Made fresh this morning." The alien tried the bacon next, then the toast. With each bite, Click 7 seemed more amazed. It started eating faster, using 2 hands to hold the fork and pick up pieces of food. "This is incredible," Click 7 said between bites. "I have never tasted anything like this. The flavors are so complex. How do you make it?" Jake sat down at the table across from the alien. "Cooking is an art. You take simple ingredients and combine them in the right way. The secret is caring about what you're making." "Caring?" Click 7 asked. "You have to want the food to taste good," Jake explained. "You have to think about who's going to eat it and what will make them happy. Nutrition bars are just fuel. Real food is about more than just staying alive." Click 7 finished the entire plate and sat back in its chair. "I understand now why humans are different. You do not just eat to survive. You eat for pleasure." "That's part of it," Jake said, "but it's also about sharing. Food brings people together. When you cook for someone, you're showing them that you care about them." The alien looked thoughtful. "You cooked this food for me, even though I am not human, even though you do not know me. Everyone deserves a good meal," Jake said, "especially travelers who are far from home." Click 7 stood up and walked to the window. Its ship was still smoking slightly. "I need to repair my cooling system, but I do not have the right materials." Jake joined the alien at the window. "What kind of materials do you need?" "Metal tubing, cooling fluid, and some electronic components," Click 7 said. "Without them, my ship cannot leave Mars." Jake thought for a moment. "I might be able to help. The colony's maintenance shop is still running on automatic systems. There might be some parts you can use. You would help me?" Click 7 asked. "Of course," Jake said. "You're my customer now." "I take care of my customers." They spent the next hour walking through the empty streets of New Phoenix. Jake showed Click 7 where to find the maintenance shop, the parts storage facility, and the fuel depot. The alien was amazed by the human colony and asked many questions about how humans live. "Your people built all of this?" Click 7 asked as they walked past the residential towers. "It took 20 years, Jake said. "Humans are good at building things. We like to make places feel like home. And now you are the only one left," Click 7 said sadly. "For now," Jake said, "but maybe not forever." They found the parts that Click 7 needed in the maintenance shop. The alien was skilled with tools and worked quickly to repair its ship. Jake helped by holding parts and bringing tools. They worked together for most of the afternoon. "You are very kind," Click 7 said as they finished the repairs. "I have never met a human before, but I heard that your people were dangerous." Jake laughed. "Some of us are. But most humans just want to live in peace and help each other. We're not so different from other species." "I think you are more different than you know," Click 7 said. "In a good way." The alien ship was running smoothly again. Click 7 prepared to leave, but first they came back to the cafe. Jake packed some food for the alien's journey and refilled its coffee cup. "Thank you for everything," Click 7 said. "I will not forget this kindness. Come back anytime," Jake said. "Murphy's last stop is always open." Click 7 climbed into its ship and waved goodbye with all 4 arms. Jake watched as the ship lifted off and disappeared into the Martian sky. He was alone again, but somehow he felt less lonely than before. Jake walked back into his cafe and began cleaning the dishes. He had served his first alien customer, and it had gone better than he could have hoped. Maybe other travelers would stop by. Maybe word would spread that there was a human on Mars who served good food and treated everyone with respect. Jake smiled as he wiped down the table where Click 7 had sat. The alien had left a small metal token on the table, probably as payment for the meal. Jake picked it up and put it in his pocket. His first alien customer had paid for breakfast. Murphy's last stop was no longer just a human cafe. It was a place where anyone could find a good meal and a friendly welcome. Jake turned on the neon sign and got ready for whatever tomorrow might bring. General Frank Rogers stood in the war room deep beneath the Pentagon, surrounded by screens showing every military asset on Earth. 72 hours had passed since the alien scout ship sent its message to the Hunter fleet. Now, radio telescopes around the world were detecting massive objects moving through space toward the solar system. "How many ships?" asked President Collins, who had barely slept since the countdown began. "At least 50, replied Dr. Lisa Morgan, studying the data from her tablet. "Possibly more. They're coming from different directions, surrounding us completely. Time until arrival? 6 hours." The room fell silent. In 6 hours, humanity would face the judgment of an alien species that had been destroying civilizations for millions of years. Everything they had worked for, everything they had built, everything they were, would be decided by creatures they had never seen. "Status report on our defenses," the president said. General Rogers looked at his notes grimly. "We've moved every military satellite into defensive positions around Earth. All nuclear submarines are in launch position. Every Air Force base on the planet is ready for immediate deployment. But ma'am, based on what we saw when the Defender attacked the scout ship, I don't think conventional weapons will be effective." Dr. Amanda Shaw, who had spent the last 3 days working with Lisa to decode more of the alien message, looked up from her computer. "There might be another option. We found additional information hidden in the Veltar transmission." "What kind of information?" asked the president. "Technical data. Weapon designs, shield technology, power systems." The Veltar included blueprints for every advanced technology they had developed before their civilization fell. Lisa nodded. "It's like they wanted to give other species a fighting chance. The problem is, most of these technologies are centuries ahead of what we can build." "Most of them," said Dr. Shaw, "but not all. There's one weapon design that we might be able to construct with current technology if we work fast enough." She brought up a hologram showing a complex device. The Veltar called it a quantum disruption field generator. According to their notes, it can destabilize the molecular bonds in living tissue. Since the Hunter ships appear to be biological, this weapon might be effective against them. General Rogers studied the design. How long would it take to build? Under normal circumstances? Years. But if we strip every advanced research facility on Earth and work around the clock, we might be able to build a prototype in 4 hours. "Do it," said President Collins. "Use every resource we have, as scientists and engineers around the world." Began the desperate race to build humanity's last hope, Dr. Lisa Morgan received an unexpected message on her computer. It was coming from the same location as the original Veltar warning, but this transmission was different. "Dr. Shaw, you need to see this," Lisa said. The new message was much shorter than the first one, and it was addressed specifically to Earth. "Humans of the third planet, we have detected the approach of the Hunter fleet. You have little time. We send you the final gift of our people, the last secret we discovered before our world died. The Hunters have a weakness. They fear one thing above all others. They fear species that fight back together as one people. Every civilization they have destroyed fought as separate nations, separate tribes, separate worlds. But you still have time to become something they have never faced. Become one species, one people, one voice. This is your only chance. May your courage be stronger than our fear." "One people," President Collins repeated. "What does that mean?" "I think it means exactly what it says," Lisa replied. Every other civilization the Hunters destroyed was divided when they were attacked. Different countries, different planets, different governments, all fighting separately. But if humanity could unite completely, coordinate every action, work as a single organism. General Rogers was already on the phone with military commanders around the world. "This is General Rogers with Emergency Authorization Omega 7. I need to speak with every head of state immediately." We have 4 hours to create a unified global command structure. What happened next had never occurred in human history. In the space of 3 hours, every nation on Earth agreed to place their military forces under a single command. The United States, Russia, China, India, all of Europe, every country with weapons or soldiers, all agreed to fight as one army under one leader. General Rogers found himself in command of the entire military might of planet Earth. Dr. Shaw led a team of 10,000 scientists building the quantum weapon. Lisa Morgan coordinated communication with observatories worldwide, tracking the approaching Hunter fleet. The weapon is ready, Dr. Shaw announced as the 4th hour ended. We've installed it on the International Space Station. It's not very powerful, and it only has enough energy for one shot, but it's the best we could do. Fleet status? Asked General Rogers. Hunter ships are entering the outer solar system now, Lisa reported. They're moving slower than expected. It's almost like they're being careful. Through telescopes, humanity got its first clear look at the Hunter fleet. The ships were enormous, some of them larger than cities. Like the scout ship, they appeared to be living creatures rather than machines. Their hulls pulsed with organic light, and strange appendages moved across their surfaces. Like tentacles. Incoming transmission, announced the communications officer. The main screen filled with an alien face unlike anything humans had imagined. It was tall and thin, with pale skin and large black eyes. When it spoke, its voice was cold and emotionless. Humans of Earth, I am the primary hunter of the cleansing fleet. We have received the report of our scout regarding your species. You have been evaluated and found to be a significant threat to galactic stability. President Collins stepped forward. We are not a threat. We are a young civilization trying to learn and grow. We want peace. Your words contradict your actions. You attacked our scout without provocation. Your species shows aggressive tendencies and rapid technological advancement. These factors indicate that you will become a threat to older civilizations if allowed to develop further. You're wrong, the president replied. Humanity can be peaceful. We can work with other species, perhaps, but we cannot take that risk. The galaxy must be protected from the chaos that young species bring. Your civilization will be terminated. Wait, said Dr. Lisa Morgan, stepping into view of the camera. We know about the Veltar. We know about all the other civilizations you've destroyed. We know you're afraid. The alien hunter's expression changed slightly. We do not experience fear. Yes, you do. You're afraid of what happens when a species refuses to give up. You're afraid of unity. That's why you attack civilizations when they're divided. But we're not divided anymore. General Rogers activated displays showing military positions around the world. Every screen showed the same thing: human forces working together in perfect coordination. For the first time in human history, every nation on Earth is united, the president said. We stand as one species, one people, one voice, and that voice says no. We will not be terminated. We will not surrender. We will fight. The hunter leader was quiet for a long moment. Unity among young species is ... unusual, but it changes nothing. You cannot defend against our fleet. Maybe not, said General Rogers, but we can make it cost you. Every ship you lose, every hunter that dies, weakens your fleet for the next civilization you attack, and word will spread. Other species will learn that you can be hurt. You would sacrifice your entire species for a symbolic gesture? No, said Lisa Morgan. We'll sacrifice our entire species for the chance that other species might survive. That's what the Veltar did when they sent their warning. That's what intelligence really means. Not just saving yourself, but saving others. The hunter leaders. Image flickered with what might have been confusion. This is not logical. The survival of your species should be your only concern. That's where you're wrong, President Collins said. The survival of all species should be everyone's concern. That's what makes us different from you. The transmission ended abruptly. For several minutes, the Hunter fleet remained motionless. At the edge of the solar system dot, then something unexpected happened. The fleet began to split apart. Some ships moved toward Earth as expected, but others hung back, as if uncertain. "What are they doing?" asked General Rogers. "I think they're arguing," Lisa said, studying the scanner data. "The ships are exchanging massive amounts of communication traffic. It's like they can't decide what to do." Dr. Shaw looked up from her computer. The scout ship reported that humans understood the Veltar warning and united in response to it. That's never happened before. Every other species either ignored the warning or panicked when they received it. "So what does that mean?" asked the president. "It means we've done something that breaks their pattern," Lisa replied. "For millions of years, they faced the same types of civilizations. Divided, frightened, predictable. But we're showing them something new. Will it be enough?" asked General Rogers. Lisa looked at the screen showing the Hunter fleet, still arguing among themselves at the edge of humanity's solar system. Half the ships wanted to proceed with the extermination. Half seemed to want to wait and study this new development. 3 days after Dr. Lisa Morgan made her phone call, she found herself sitting in a room she never thought she would see. The walls were white and windowless, and the only decoration was a large seal of the United States government. Around the table sat some of the most powerful people in the world, and they were all staring at her. President Martha Collins sat at the head of the table, her face serious and tired. To her right was General Frank Rogers, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Across from him sat Dr. Amanda Shaw, the director of the International Space Communications Array. There were others too, scientists and military officers and government officials from a dozen countries. "Dr. Morgan," the president said, "I want you to explain this message one more time, in simple terms that everyone can understand." Lisa took a deep breath. She had been explaining this for 3 days straight, first to Director Stone, then to FBI agents, then to scientists from NASA and the Pentagon. Each time, the reaction was the same mixture of disbelief and fear. "The message is a warning," Lisa said. "It comes from an alien civilization that was destroyed by something they call hunters. These hunters track civilizations by their radio signals, study them, and then eliminate them. The aliens who sent the message are trying to warn us to stop broadcasting before it's too late." "And you're certain this isn't some kind of hoax?" asked Dr. Shaw. She had been the most skeptical person in every meeting. "College students have fooled scientists before with fake signals. The mathematics are too complex," Lisa replied. "The signal has been transmitting for over 1,000 years, according to the data embedded in it. The star maps are accurate, too. A precision that would require technology we don't have. And the signal is coming from a location 47 light years away." General Rogers leaned forward. "Dr. Morgan, assuming this is real, what exactly are we dealing with? What kind of threat are these hunters?" Lisa looked at her notes. "According to the message, they're a species that has been eliminating other civilizations for millions of years. They see advanced civilizations as threats to what they call the order of the galaxy. They're systematic, patient, and extremely advanced." "How advanced?" asked a scientist from the European Space Agency. "They can travel between star systems easily. They have weapons that can destroy planets. They use living technology that can repair itself and adapt to different situations. And most importantly, they use our own radio signals to learn everything about us before they attack." The room fell silent. Lisa could see the weight of her words settling on everyone present. President Collins spoke first. "General Rogers, what are our options militarily? If this threat is real, we're not prepared for it," the general said bluntly. "Our most advanced weapons are designed to fight other humans on Earth. We have no defense against enemies that can travel between stars." "What about our space program?" asked the president. "Could we evacuate some people to other planets?" Dr. Shaw shook her head. "We can barely get people to the moon reliably. Setting up colonies on other worlds would take decades, maybe centuries. And if these hunters can travel between star systems, there would be nowhere to hide anyway. A British intelligence officer spoke up. What about the aliens who sent the message? Could they help us? Lisa felt a chill. The message suggests they're dying. Their planet is poisoned and their civilization is ending. They're using the last of their power to warn others. So we're on our own, said General Rogers. Maybe not, Lisa said. The message contains technical data about the hunters and how they operate. If we study it carefully, we might be able to find weaknesses. President Collins turned to an aide. I want our best scientists working on this immediately. Everything else is secondary. But Dr. Shaw stood up, her face angry. Wait a minute. We're talking about shutting down all radio communications based on a message we received 3 days ago. Do you understand what that means? It means we might survive, said General Rogers. It means we go back to the Stone Age, Dr. Shaw replied. No satellites, no GPS, no internet, no cell phones. Global communications will collapse. The economy will crash. Millions of people would die just from the chaos. She pointed at Lisa. And we're supposed to do this because one scientist thinks she decoded a message from space? What if she's wrong? What if this is all a mistake? The mathematics don't lie, Lisa said firmly. Mathematics can be manipulated, Dr. Shaw shot back. I've seen the data. It's impressive, but it's not proof of an alien invasion. For all we know, this could be a test from another government or a psychological experiment or just a very sophisticated hoax. Dr. Shaw, said President Collins, what would it take to convince you this is real? Independent verification. Other scientists working with different equipment getting the same results. Multiple signals from different sources. Something more than just one message that conveniently tells us to stop doing exactly what we've been doing for decades. An Italian scientist spoke up. I've been analyzing the signal with my team in Rome. We get the same results as Dr. Morgan. The message is real, and it's definitely artificial. That's not enough, Dr. Shaw said. We need more proof before we make a decision that could destroy human civilization. General Rogers stood up. With respect, Dr. Shaw, if we wait for absolute proof, it might be too late. Military strategy is about preparing for threats before they become reality. This isn't military strategy, Dr. Shaw replied. This is panic. We're talking about changing the entire course of human development based on fear. The argument was interrupted by a knock on the door. An aide entered and whispered something to President Collins. Her face went pale. What is it? Asked General Rogers. There's been a development, the president said. Dr. Morgan, you said the message was coming from a system 47 light years away. That's correct. Our deep space monitoring stations have detected something. A large object moving through space in that direction. It's heading toward our solar system. The room went completely silent. Lisa felt her heart stop. How large? Asked General Rogers. Approximately 2 kilometers long. It's not following any natural orbit. It's definitely artificial. Dr. Shaw's face had gone white. When will it arrive? At current speed, approximately 8 months. Lisa stood up, her hand shaking. It's a scout ship. The message described them. They send scouts to investigate civilizations that received the warning. How do you know that? Asked Dr. Shaw. Because stopping radio transmissions is a sign that a civilization has been warned. The hunters look for that pattern. When a civilization suddenly goes quiet, they know someone told them about the threat. General Rogers was already on his phone calling his staff. We need to activate every defense system we have. And we need to do it quietly. Wait, said Dr. Shaw. We still don't know for certain what this object is. It could be a natural phenomenon, or a probe from another country, or Dr. Shaw. President Collins said firmly, I appreciate your skepticism, but we can't afford to be wrong about this. If there's even a chance that Dr. Morgan is right, We need to prepare. Over the next few hours, the meeting broke down into smaller groups. Military officers discussed defense strategies. Scientists debated the technical aspects of the message. Government officials worried about how to tell the public. Lisa found herself in a corner with Dr. Kate Davis, who had been quietly taking notes throughout the meeting. "What do you think?" Lisa asked. "I think we're in trouble," Kate replied. "But I also think there might be hope in the message that we haven't found yet." "What do you mean?" "The aliens who sent this warning, they survived the initial attack. They lasted long enough to build a transmission station and warn others. That means the hunters aren't invincible." Lisa looked at the chaos around them. Military. Officers were making phone calls. Scientists were arguing about data. Politicians were worried about public reaction. "But can we survive long enough to fight back?" Lisa asked. "I don't know," Kate said. "But I think we're about to find out." Across the room, Dr. Shaw was still arguing with General Rogers. She couldn't accept that everything she had worked for, the dream of human expansion into space, might be ending before it had really begun. "You're asking us to hide," she said angrily. "To cower in the dark and hope these hunters don't notice us. That's not what humans do. We explore, we grow, we reach for the stars." "And look where it got us," General Rogers replied. "If Dr. Morgan is right, our reaching for the stars just painted a target on our backs." President Collins stood up, ending the argument. "We're not hiding," she said. "We're preparing. Dr. Shaw, I want you to work with Dr. Morgan to learn everything we can from this message. General Rogers, I want defense plans for every possible scenario. And I want all this kept secret until we know what we're dealing with." As the meeting ended and people began to file out, Lisa remained in her chair, staring at the government seal on the wall. 3 days ago, she had been a simple radio astronomer looking for patterns in space noise. Now she was at the center of humanity's greatest crisis. The scout ship was coming, and in 8 months, humanity would learn whether the warning from the stars had come in time to save them, or whether they were already too late. The chamber around the horizon suddenly filled with light. Dozens of alien warships materialized from hidden docking bays in the sphere's walls. They were sleek and deadly, with weapons that glowed like angry stars. Jake Morrison counted at least 50 ships, all pointed at his small vessel. "Red alert," Jake ordered. "All hands to battle stations." Amy Stone's fingers flew over her weapons console. "Captain, we're massively outgunned. These ships have energy signatures I've never seen before. Their weapons could vaporize us in seconds." "How long until our weapons are ready?" "They're ready now, sir." "But against as many ships." Amy's voice trailed off. Ambassador Zix's voice echoed through the bridge, but now it sounded different, cold and threatening. "Captain Morrison, the Council has reached a decision. Your species is too dangerous to be allowed to survive. You will surrender immediately." "Like hell we will," Jake replied. Paul Kim looked up from his science station. "Captain, I'm reading massive energy buildups in those ships." "They're preparing to fire," Jake thought quickly. The Horizon was a tough ship, but not tough enough to survive 50 alien warships firing at once. They needed an advantage, and they needed it fast. "Lisa, are you still in contact with the other ships in this chamber?" "Yes, sir. The crews that are still alive are listening to everything." "Tell them what's happening." "Tell them the Council lied to them too. They were never going to be welcomed into galactic society. They were always meant to be slaves." Lisa's hands moved over her controls. "Broadcasting now, Captain." "Paul, what can you tell me about the station's structure?" "It's massive, sir. The power source appears to be at the center, maybe 10 miles below us. There are thousands of systems throughout the sphere. Weapons, shields, life support, everything. Weaknesses? I'm not sure yet. But Captain, I think I know how they've been capturing all these ships." "How?" "The station doesn't just have weapons. It has some kind of dampening. Field that shuts down enemy systems. That's why all these ships are dead. The Council disabled them before they could fight back. Jake felt his heart sink. If the station could shut down their systems, they were finished before they started. Can we counter it? Maybe. Our systems are different from the alien designs. Human technology might not be affected the same way. The first alien ship opened fire. A beam of blue energy shot toward the horizon. Amy fired their defensive systems, and the beam splashed harmlessly against their shields. Shields holding, Amy reported. But not for long against this many ships. More beams lanced out from the alien fleet. The horizon shook under the impact. Sparks flew from damaged consoles as the ship's system strained under the assault. Captain, Lisa called out, I'm getting responses from the other ships. They're saying their systems are coming back online. What? The slave crews are breaking. Free. They're taking control of their ships. Jake looked at the tactical display. Several of the dead alien ships were beginning to move. Their lights were coming on, and their weapons were powering up. The dampening field, Paul said excitedly. It's designed to work on specific alien technologies. But when the crews started working together, sharing information, they found ways around it. And we gave them the motivation to try? Jake realized the chamber erupted into chaos. The freed alien ships opened fire on the Council fleet. Blue and red energy beams crisscrossed the vast space like deadly fireworks. The horizon found itself in the middle of a massive space battle. Amy, target the nearest Council ship. Show them what human weapons can do. Yes, sir. The horizon's main. Gun fired. The energy beam punched through the Council ship shields like they were made of paper. The alien vessel exploded in a ball of fire and debris. Direct hit? Amy shouted. That got their attention. Indeed it had. Half the Council fleet turned. Their weapons on the horizon. The little human ship disappeared in a storm of energy beams. But when the light faded, the horizon was still there. Damaged but fighting. How are we still alive? Mark Brady asked from the engineering station. Human engineering, Paul said with pride. Our ships are built to take damage and keep fighting. These aliens are used to either destroying enemies quickly or disabling them with the dampening field. They don't know how to deal with something that just won't die. Jake smiled grimly. Then let's show them how humans fight. The horizon charged into the Council fleet, guns blazing. They were outnumbered and outgunned, but they fought with a desperation that caught the aliens off guard. Every time they took damage, they adapted. Every time a system failed, they found another way to fight. Amy coordinated with the freed alien. Ships, sharing targeting data and tactical information. The diverse fleet of former slaves worked together despite their different technologies and languages. Captain, Lisa reported, more ships are coming online. The entire chamber is joining the fight against the Council. Jake watched the battle unfold on his screens. Ships from dozens of different species, all working together against their former captors. It was beautiful and terrible at the same time, but the Council had more ships. As the battle raged, more warships emerged from hidden bays throughout the station. The rebels were being overwhelmed. We need to hit the station itself, Jake decided. Paul, can you find a weak point? Working on it, sir. Paul's instruments showed him the station's internal structure. There, Captain. The power core is heavily shielded, but there's a maintenance shaft that leads directly to it. How big is the shaft? Big enough for our ship, but barely. And it's heavily defended. Jake didn't hesitate. Plot a course. We're going in. Captain, Amy protested. That's suicide. Even if we reach the power core, destroying it will probably destroy us too. Maybe. But if we don't stop this station, the Council will just keep killing species that threaten them. How many more civilizations will they destroy? Jake thought about Earth, billions of miles away. If the Council decided humanity was too dangerous, they would find Earth eventually. They would destroy his home planet just like they had destroyed countless others. Set course for the maintenance shaft? Jake ordered. The Horizon broke away from the main battle and dove toward the station's surface. Council ships followed them, firing constantly. The human ship's shields flared and sparked under the assault. Entering the shaft now, the helmsman reported. The Horizon plunged into a tunnel that seemed to go on forever. The walls were lined with defensive systems that fired at them as they passed. The ship shook and groaned under the punishment. Shields at 30%, Amy called out. Keep going, Jake ordered. 20%. Keep going. 10%. Captain, we can't take much more. We're almost there, Paul said. The power core is just ahead. Jake could see it now on the main screen. A sphere of pure energy, contained within fields of force. It was beautiful and terrible, like a captured star. Amy, arm all weapons. Target the containment field. Sir, if we breach that containment, the explosion will destroy the entire station. I know. Amy's hands hesitated over her controls. Captain, we'll die too. Jake looked around the bridge at his crew. These people had followed him across the galaxy. They deserved better than to die in an alien tunnel fighting someone else's war. But then he thought about the slave crews they had freed. He thought about Earth and all the humans who would never know how close they had come to extinction. Fire, Jake ordered. Amy pressed the firing button. The Horizon's weapons lanced out and struck the containment field. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the star began to die. Asterisk.